So today we're going to send an important piece of research to Senators Lynn, Ruane and Ardagh. Here's why. Last month, Gript Media reported that a paper published in the British Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology by 3 researchers from UCC had made some pretty shocking revelations about late-term abortion in Ireland. Now, it appears that some of our politicians are unable to find this research or don't believe it exists, so we're going to send it to them. But firstly, let me give you a little bit of background. You see, the rest of the media have refused to cover this story or to report on this research, and why would they? Because they spent decades and more campaigning to have the 8th Amendment repealed, and they promised voters during the abortion referendum in 2018 that late-term abortions would not happen in Ireland. This research shows that it is happening, and the media do not want to acknowledge that. But late-term abortions are happening in Ireland, in Irish maternity hospitals. And this research gathers the experiences of the doctors who are carrying out those late-term abortions. The doctors who were interviewed talked about carrying out feticide. That's a method of late-term abortion where the baby receives a lethal injection of potassium chloride into the heart. Unlike prisoners on death row, no pain relief is given to the baby before they receive that lethal injection in a late-term abortion. The doctors who carried out the abortions described them as brutal, awful, dreadful, and like stabbing a baby in the heart. One doctor said that they were sick in the corridor afterwards after performing the late-term abortion. Now, when this research paper and this issue was raised by Senator Ruane in the Seanad, 2 of the senators had an interesting response.
And I think, just to make a brief comment in relation to Senator Mullen's contribution, I think we need to be very careful when we say late-term abortions, because it's not a late-term abortion. It's actually for fetal abnormality, and I think we need to be very careful of what language we use. There is no late-term abortions in Ireland unless it's for fetal abnormality. And actually, if you go and look for that report, the only time you can actually find it on Google is from the likes of Gript magazine. I actually can't find the original report, so I would like to be able to actually access the original report. But it's all
through the chair.
Yeah, through the chair. So I just think we need to be very careful about our language. They're not late-term abortions, and I think regardless of who reads the report, when I do see it, I'm sure people will read it very differently with a different lens. So I think I just really wanted to kind of refer to that language of late-term abortions.
Just before, I'd like to also just agree with some of the statements by Senator Ruane there, just in relation to Senator Mullen's language today. I just think it was completely inappropriate.
Now, if either of the senators had bothered to read the research paper before making their comments, they would have seen that it confirms, in fact, that late-term abortions are being carried out in Ireland. And how do they imagine abortions are carried out on babies with life-limiting conditions or serious anomalies? The paper would have explained that for them too. Babies are given a lethal injection into the heart. They would have read too, in this research paper published in a peer-reviewed journal, that sometimes babies are born alive after abortion in Ireland, and that doctors say they are left begging for help when this happens. Now, finding this paper is easy. A couple of clicks on Google will bring you to the site where it can be bought and read in full. Lynn, Ruane and Ardagh are senators. They have staff and funds for secretarial costs at their disposal. As Oireachtas members, they also have the entire Oireachtas Library and Research Service available to them. And this includes the capacity to submit detailed research requests. It's incredible that their only comment was to deny and criticise those raising concerns. So today we've bought 2 copies of this important research paper, and we're sending those copies to both senators so that they cannot deny the reality of what's happening, the truth of what they campaigned for and what they voted for. In the words of the great abolitionist William Wilberforce, "You can choose to look away, but you can never say again that you did not know."